Associated Press. Washington, members of Congress demanded answers Thursday 2 weeks after an ambush in the African nation of Niger killed 4 U.S. soldiers, with one top lawmaker even threatening subpoenas. The White House defended the slow pace of information, saying an investigation would eventually offer clarity about a tragedy that has morphed into a political dispute in the United States. Among the unresolved inquiries, why were the Americans apparently caught by surprise? Why did it take 2 additional days to recover one of the 4 bodies after the shooting stopped? Was the Islamic State responsible? The deadly ambush in Niger occurred as Islamic militants on motorcycles, toting rocket-propelled grenades and heavy machine guns, seized on a U.S. convoy and shattered the windows of their unarmored trucks. In addition to those killed, 2 Americans were wounded. No extremist group has claimed responsibility. The attack is under official military investigation, as is normal for a deadly incident. What is abnormal? According to Senator John McCain, the Republican chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, is the Trump administration's slow response to requests for information. He said Thursday it may take a subpoena to shake loose more information. They are not forthcoming with that information, McCain told reporters. Senator Bob Corker, the Tennessee Republican who chairs the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said members of Congress have been provided with some information about the attack, but not what we should. At the Pentagon, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis pushed back, saying it naturally takes time to verify information about a combat engagement. The loss of our troops is under investigation, he said. We in the Department of Defense like to know what we're talking about before we talk. Mattis did not offer details about the circumstances under which the Americans were traveling, but said contact with hostile forces had been considered unlikely. That would explain why the Americans, traveling in unarmored vehicles with Nigerian counterparts, lacked access to medical support and had no immediate air cover, although Mattis said French aircraft were called to the scene quickly. He said contract aircraft flew out the bodies of 3 Americans shortly after the firefight. Local Nigerians found Johnson's body and returned it October 6. Dana White, a spokeswoman for Mattis, said Johnson had become separated. Speaking at a news conference with her, Lieutenant Gen. Kenneth McKenzie, director of the Joint Staff, said he knew more about what had happened to Johnson but was not willing to share it. He said U.S., Nigerian and French forces remained in the area searching for Johnson until he was found, so it would be wrong to say he was left behind. Mattis said the U.S. has about 1,000 troops in that part of Africa to support a French-led mission to disrupt and destroy extremist elements. He said the U.S. provides aerial refueling, intelligence and reconnaissance support, and ground troops to engage with local leaders. McKenzie said last week that U.S. troops in that area had done 29 similar missions over the previous 6 months without encountering enemy forces. Underlining how the attack and its response have rattled the White House this week, Trump's national security advisor, Lieutenant Gen. H.R. McMaster, also joined the defense. He said Thursday that it would be wrong for the Pentagon to provide details of the tragedy before it had fully verified them in the course of an in-depth investigation. Mattis described the mission performed by U.S. troops in Niger as a classic example of training that Army Green Berets have performed worldwide for decades, usually with no publicity. Known in military parlance as foreign internal defense, the mission is to help local militaries improve fighting skills and techniques. It requires a cultural acuity for which U.S. Special Operations troops are known.